Okay, this garage ceiling is, or should have been, 5/8. It is 5/8 drywall. And that gives you about 20 minutes or so. But what we're doing here is we're trying to separate the attic space from the garage space and the garage space from the living space, that door that doesn't have a spring on it. And we're trying to separate those things. And so what we've got here, we installed a nice ladder in here. And but let's keep talking about this. We've done some repairs. Look like somebody might have stepped through this or something. I don't know. Maybe it was water damage. But all this should be taped embedded. Even the older stuff. Okay, all these seams, even on the original, now that I'm looking at it, even the original drywall should have been taped embedded. Like this is taped embedded here between the garage and the living space. Okay, this should have been taped embedded. Now this ladder, okay, we got 5/8 drywall here. Okay, do you think this little 1/4-inch plywood is going to do the same thing about stopping a fire? Is the drywall? I don't think it is. I think what you have here is called a chimney. It won't take any time for the fire to go through there. We need some kind of fire blocking to be added. I've seen people add a section of drywall on top of the stairwell, and that's, I'd be happy with that. Let's move on up, because we're movers. Bolted in pretty nice. Okay. They expected us to put fasteners in these holes. They only added 2 fasteners right here. But we didn't add the extra fasteners. Everywhere you have a hole, a fastener goes. Now there's certain cases where it's not aligned, that you have alignment holes for tooling the parts, but those aren't those. Those holes are supposed to have fasteners in them. And we come over here and we're missing our fastener altogether. It looks like they put it in at one time. Okay. We're moving on up. I see a light switch. We got hope. It's a little far from my blood, but I brought some of my own light. Okay. Let there be. Yes. This luminary should have a cage around it, some kind of a protective cage. When this home was built, it wasn't required. I get that. We got OSB. Moving on along, I'm looking at our framing. We've got all this. Looks like we had birds in the attic at one time. What is that? I don't know. It's pretty consistent. I spent diligent birds. But we've got some of our bat insulation. That is the living room. Bad insulation, and it's compromised around there. We got loose fill fiberglass, or we'll call it rock wool, but it's fiberglass. The gray stuff is what we call it. But anyway, they have the same insulating properties as each other. The pink stuff, the white stuff, and the gray stuff, they're all essentially the same. But what I'm not seeing is any depth markers. We don't have any depth markers. What I'm not seeing is any soffit baffles. Okay, those are, and the attic feels kind of stuffy up here. A lot of them do. But I'm not seeing any soffit baffles. The soffit baffles are important because they keep the insulation from falling down inside your soffits where the soffit vents are. Soffit vent baffles, and I'm not seeing those. And they keep it, so that the air gets directed out like it's supposed to. And obviously they've had some problems with attic ventilation because we've installed attic vent fans. Those are beyond the scope of this inspection, by the way. Even though you got hanging junction boxes and unprotected conductors entering inside of them, I can't reach them to turn them on or off. I don't know if they work or not. But again, attic power vents are beyond the scope of this inspection. Let's move around a little bit. But try not to step on anything. See all this piping? It should be built up. It should be. that's a deck, isn't it? Woo-wee! Man, I feel like I'm at the fair. I might win a prize. I might not like the prize I win. See these electric cables? They're not supposed to be in the path. They're not supposed to be in the path. Okay. We build wood up around these. Got pitch on that? Okay, that's a good thing. See if I can go up this. Boy, I am in a fun house. It's a fun house today. I made it though. Woo-wee. Feel how soft that is? Alright. Moving on up. And we're looking. And we're looking. We're missing some bat insulation completely right over there. See that? That's the yellow bat. See yellow, yellow. See that spot in the middle? We're missing our insulation. Now, see all these trails? This is supposed to look like a, of course it's gray. We're missing bat insulation over there too. See that? Okay. All this insulation is supposed to look like a fresh snow. A gray snow. Maybe it's a Chicago snow. But all this insulation is supposed to look like a fresh snow. You see all those humps and trails in there? People didn't make those trails. People didn't make those trails. Mice has made those trails. And this is our evaporator drain. Okay, for our pan, our safety pan drain line right there. And there's our primary. You see those little brown marks on there? See all those oil off the pelts, off of the rodents. See that drain pipe down there? See the little brown spots on it? That's where the rodents have been rubbing on it. That's how they communicate.